Hey guys, I am Game Advisor, and today we're going to be talking about how to get started in Icarus. This will cover everything you need to know in order to get the ball rolling if you're playing Icarus for the first time or if it's one of your first times playing. Either way, let's go ahead and get started. Now, when you boot up Icarus for the first time, you're going to go ahead and just jump right on into that mission after you finish character creation. Character creation doesn't really have a lot to it, so it shouldn't take you too long to get through that. Now, once you are in the game, the first thing you need to know is that you do not want to waste time just wandering around and doing nothing. You should be focusing on finishing your mission as quickly as possible. Unlike other survival games, everything you have on the planet will not be taken with you, which we'll cover here in just a second. Now, aside from that, you're going to want to go ahead and turn your graphics down, usually in most people's case. I run on a 2070 Super and I was struggling quite a bit to run this game. Most people tend to be having problems right now. This may change in the future, but in its current state, I definitely would recommend going ahead and turning the graphics down to usually medium or high or even lower if you're on a crummier PC that's not from this century, so that you're able to play the game with a decent frame rate. Now, once you are in the world and you are doing your mission and all those other things, you're going to want to go ahead and look for Oxite. Oxite is going to be how you get oxygen in this game. It looks like a blue rock and it can either be picked up on the ground with your hands in about 1 or 2 pieces, or you can find a blue little boulder. I believe there's one in the center of the lake that you spawn next to on your very first mission, and you can go ahead and mine that with a pick. Now, once you have the Oxidite, you'll have 2 options to get oxygen out of it. One, you can put it on your hotbar and just left click and you'll get oxygen at a very small rate to the amount of ore you mined. Or you can put it in an oxidizer, which will slowly fill up a balloon that will give you much more oxygen per oxidite spent. So one is really good for when you're on the go, and the other is really good for when you kind of have your little base set up or you need to hide in shelter during a storm. Now, next is that food has different buffs in this game. You get a different buff for eating raw food, you get a different buff for eating cooked food, you get a different buff for eating vegetables versus meat, and many other different things. For an example, if you eat a cooked carrot, which can be found in the starting area, those will give you an increased maximum stamina buff. I believe it's plus 75% in the game's current state. Of course, this is all subject to change as the game is still being worked on. Whereas if you eat meat, you're going to get an increased HP buff and HP regen buff. There really doesn't seem to be a way to instantly heal yourself, at least not early on in the game. It might take you a few levels to get to the point where you can do that kind of thing, but early on you're just going to want to look for HP regen in that food because there's really not any other options for it. Stamina is also a great thing to have as it's going to help you out in getting your resources and running around much quicker. Now, if you do make it to your first night, whether it's on your first, second, or any mission thereafter, it's worth noting that you can sleep through the night in the game. The nights can be rather dark and hard to see. Of course, you could just turn up your monitor's brightness, but that kind of ruins the whole immersion, and even then there still seems to be more wolves out. I could be wrong on that one, so don't quote me, but in my experience, I've noticed that there seems to be significantly more wolves and enemies that are trying to take me out during the nighttime. In order to deal with that, just like Minecraft style, you can go ahead and put a bedroll down. You're going to need to have a campfire next to it as well. Be careful not to light your house on fire, by the way, and then go ahead and make sure you sleep in it and set your spawn point to it, and you should be able to skip through to the morning of the next day. If you didn't know, you can also see the time of day in the top right corner of your screen. Now, last but not least, there is one last thing you need to know, and that is that you're basically just not going to keep anything in the beginning of the game when you're leaving a planet. There is really no reason to go ahead and save up or get a whole bunch of things ready to take with you because none of it's coming with you anyways. At the end of the day, all you really care about is getting as much XP as possible by crafting as many things as you can and then getting on your ship and finishing that mission to get the currency that you'll be able to spend to unlock better things later on. That's a whole nother part of this game which we'll talk about in a later video, but just keep in mind anything that you crafted on the planet is not coming with you. And well, that's about all I have for you guys today. I hope you found some of this informational, maybe you enjoyed it. If you want to see more Icarus content, please subscribe to our channel. We put out tons of survival game content all the time, and let us know if there's things that we missed that you think players that are just getting started need to know. Once again, I am Game Advisor. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.